the lie you're living. You don't have an identity crisis. You're just exhausted from protecting something that doesn't exist. Read that again in your mind. Exhausted, not from work, not from relationships, not from responsibilities, but from maintaining a character. Every day you wake up and step into a role. The confident one, the intellectual one, the successful one, the spiritual one, the misunderstood one. You curate it, polish it, defend it. And the terrifying part? You've started to believe that character is you. But what if the anxiety you feel, the subtle emptiness, the fear of being exposed, isn't because you don't know who you are, but because you're clinging to something that was never solid in the first place? Tonight, we're going to dismantle something dangerous. Not your personality, not your ambition, but the illusion you've been protecting. The mirror that never turns off. There was a time when identity was quiet. You lived in a small circle of perception, family, friends, your local environment. Now, you live inside a global mirror. Your thoughts are posted, your experiences are broadcast, your image is measured. And without realizing it, your nervous system adapted. You began asking, how does this look? How will this be received? Does this fit my image? You stopped asking, is this true to me? Social media didn't create ego. It industrialized it. It scaled it. It turned identity into a performance economy, and the more attention your character receives, the more you must protect it. This is where suffering begins, not because you're fake, but because you're attached. Zen's dangerous idea: there is no fixed self. Zen Buddhism introduces a concept so radical that most people reject it instantly. The self is not a permanent entity, not a fixed structure, not a solid thing behind your eyes. Instead, what you call me is a constantly changing process. Thoughts arise, emotions shift, memories rearrange, cells regenerate. You are not a statue, you are weather. But modern culture says, define yourself, choose your identity, stick to it, brand it, monetize it, defend it. And so you try to freeze the weather. You try to preserve a moving river in a block of ice. And that freezing process, that tension, that constant correction of your own behavior to remain consistent, that's what you're calling an identity crisis. But it's not confusion. It's resistance, the performance prison. Let's go deeper. Think about the last time you hesitated before posting something, not because it wasn't meaningful, but because it didn't fit. You've trained yourself to filter your authentic impulses through the lens of brand consistency, and slowly your life becomes strategic. You begin curating your own existence. You say things because they align with your established persona. You avoid exploring new interests because they would confuse your audience. You suppress contradictions because contradictions weaken identity. And here's the irony. The more consistent you become online, the more fragmented you feel internally. Because real humans are inconsistent. Real humans evolve. Real humans contradict themselves. When you prevent yourself from evolving publicly, you begin to stagnate privately. That stagnation feels like confusion, but it's actually suppression. The ego is not the enemy. Now, this is important. The ego is not evil. It's a survival mechanism. It forms patterns so you can navigate reality efficiently. It builds a sense of continuity so you don't feel psychologically scattered. But the ego becomes dangerous when you believe it's solid. When you believe your constructed identity is something that must be defended at all costs. The moment you say, "This is who I am," you unconsciously add, "and I must protect it." And protection creates fear. Fear of failure, fear of contradiction, fear of exposure, fear of irrelevance. Zen doesn't tell you to destroy the ego. It tells you to see through it, to recognize it as a tool, not a prison. The dopamine trap of digital identity. Let's introduce neuroscience for a moment. Every like, every comment, every share triggers a small dopamine release. Your brain begins associating identity expression with reward. Post to reward. Repeat. Soon your identity is shaped not by introspection, but by algorithmic reinforcement. You notice what performs well, you double down on it, you become more of that. And gradually your identity narrows, it becomes optimized, streamlined, marketable. But something inside feels tighter, smaller, less alive, because your identity is no longer exploratory, it's predictive, and prediction kills spontaneity, the Zen koan that breaks the illusion. Zen masters ask a strange question. Show me your original face before your parents were born. It sounds absurd, but it's meant to shatter your conceptual self. Before your name, before your gender label, before your nationality, before your profession, before your trauma, before your successes. Who were you? Not conceptually, but experientially. There is awareness, there is presence, but no fixed story. That awareness is fluid, unlabeled, open. That openness is your real nature, not the curated narrative. Why you feel fragile. When identity is rigid, it becomes fragile. If your self-worth is tied to intelligence, criticism threatens your existence. If your identity is built on success, failure feels like annihilation. If your persona is built on being strong, vulnerability feels dangerous. But if identity is fluid, nothing can truly destroy you, because you're not defending a statue. You're flowing like water. Water doesn't shatter, it adapts. Zen philosophy constantly uses water as metaphor for this reason. Water has no fixed shape, but it's unstoppable. When you cling to identity, you become brittle. When you release identity, you become resilient. The social media identity spiral. Now let's confront something uncomfortable. Many people today don't experience life directly. They experience it as potential content. You're at dinner. Part of your mind is present. The other part is calculating. Would this make a good post? This subtle split fragments consciousness. You're no longer fully in the moment. You're observing yourself in the moment. That observer is the ego maintaining image. And when your life becomes self-surveillance, anxiety increases because you're constantly monitoring performance. That constant monitoring is exhausting, not because life is hard, but because performance is. The fear of being. Nobody. Here's the deepest fear beneath identity attachment. If I let go of who I think I am, what remains? Silence, insignificance, nothing. But Zen would say that nothing is freedom. Because when you stop needing to be somebody, you're free to be anything. You're free to explore without collapsing your sense of self. You're free to change your mind. You're free to reinvent without drama. You're free to be misunderstood. Most people aren't afraid of losing identity. They're afraid of losing significance. But significance built on ego is unstable. Presence built on awareness is unshakable. The identity detox practice. So how do you apply this? Not by deleting everything, not by disappearing, not by rejecting ambition, but by loosening your grip. Next time you feel defensive, pause. Ask, what exactly am I protecting right now? A belief, a reputation, an image? Notice the contraction in your body. That contraction is attachment. Then breathe and experiment with softness. Let yourself say, maybe I've changed. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I was wrong. Watch how liberating that feels. The ego fears fluidity, but awareness thrives in it. You are not behind. Many identity crises come from comparison. You scroll. You see polished lives, clear brands, confident personalities. You assume they know exactly who they are, but what you're seeing is editing, not essence. Remember, a river looks smooth from above, but But underneath, currents shift constantly. Everyone is evolving. Some just hide it better. You are not behind, you are unfolding. The rebirth without destruction. You don't need a dramatic reinvention. You don't need to burn your past. You don't need to declare a new era. Transformation in Zen is quiet, subtle, internal. It's the shift from clinging to observing, from defending to flowing, from performing to being. And ironically, when you stop trying to control your identity, you become more authentically recognizable. Because authenticity isn't rigid, it's alive. Closing reflection. The freedom you've been seeking. You don't have an identity crisis. You're simply exhausted from carrying something that was never meant to be carried. Identity is a costume. Useful, expressive, creative, but not permanent. Wear it lightly. Change it when needed. Don't mistake it for your skin. And tonight, before you open your phone, sit still. Notice your breath. Notice the awareness behind your thoughts. That awareness doesn't need validation. It doesn't need followers. It doesn't need applause. It simply is. And that is enough. If this perspective shifted something inside you, stay with this channel. Because here we don't just chase productivity. We explore freedom. Not from society, but from illusion. Subscribe if you're ready to think deeper. Comment below, who are you without the performance? And until next time, flow.